everyone, and welcome back to It All Starts With a Wish podcast. My name is Rachel.
And I'm Mark. Let me tell you, I am ready to punch GarageBand in the face.
Yeah.
This is ridiculous.
Not once.
This, episode is, cursed.
That's
and none of you know why I'm this hot, but I'm fired up right now. Because we had this great plan that this episode would be me talking to you about how to book your dining reservations 60 days in advance.
You had the great plan to do it, live.
That's what I was going to say.
Oh, sorry.
I wanted to do it live, so I sat down, I got the computer out, I got up at 5:30. Bear in mind, you got to do the reservations at 6 a.m., 60 days in advance. I was going to do it live. It was going to be, raw, real, this is exactly,
the reactions.
Everything. Yeah. Great idea I had. Great idea. And what happens as I'm recording it, right before I actually start to book reservations, GarageBand just decided it's a great idea to stop recording.
Yeah, so I didn't know that you had recorded before 6 a.m., I didn't know that, you had started it and then you were just, waiting for it to start. That's why I was confused of why you lost it, because I was like, were you making the reservations and then you lost it? Or no?
No, I started recording at, 5:45.
Yeah. And then you were talking about,
I did, the pre-stuff to get everybody ramped up and ready and, all of the pointers and all that stuff. And then, literally at, 5:58, right before it was go time, it cut off and stopped recording me. And I didn't realize that it wasn't recording me until after I had booked almost all the dining reservations.
Yeah, a long time. Literally until the end. The last dining reservation.
Ridiculous. Stupid. And then...
I was like, well, start it again. And he was like, no, don't start it again. It's fine. We'll just redo it.
We'll do a non-live experience. We'll go over all that I did. We'll go through all the tips and tricks I have. We'll do all of that. And so tonight, as we're recording this, we do that. And I'm like, oh, let's give the people a feel for what they missed. Yeah. What they missed out on. So we'll insert the clip of me talking before the audio cut out thanks to GarageBand, and people can kind of hear oh, this would have been really cool if this had actually worked.
Are we also going to tell them that it got rid of the audio as you were recording this one?
I'm getting there.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, let's go back to the audio.
And insert.
Okay.
As we said that, and I'm editing all of this and getting the old audio from the other morning when I did this live to now, it lost the two first bleeping tracks of this episode.
We're redoing this.
Rachel was already in bed. We were already closing up shop. I'm sitting on my couch doing my editing, and I go back into this one, and the first two tracks are gone.
I really don't understand how you did that. You did it somehow, but I'm just not really sure. I've just never seen that happen, so...
The rest of it's all there.
Yeah,
the first two tracks, though, gone.
Yeah, that's what
Vanished.
The weird thing was. If it was the whole thing and the whole audio went away, then, that's one thing. But the fact that it was... Anyways.
Gosh darn it. So now we're doing this and re-recording the intro. And what was an intro of mostly just all fluff. At least that's all that we lost. We didn't lose any of the content. Is now just me angry. So, we're starting this episode off on a good foot. Well, what are we talking about today? I can't.
I can't either. Calm down. So, listen. Before I cut out the first time that Mark was up at 5:30 in the morning.
Yeah, and you're not getting that audio now because I'm not trying to pull that audio again. So, guess what? That's gone.
You're not going to do it?
Nope.
Okay.
Maybe I can post that at a later date as something funny for you to listen to, but that's not happening tonight.
Okay.
Sorry,
it's not happening. But really, 5:30 in the morning. I mean, he got up a little bit earlier because obviously he was planning on recording, so that takes a little more time to set up and stuff. But You really do want to give yourself like a good amount of setup time, like 10-15 minutes, just to make sure you're logged in and everything. But I think the 6 a.m. mark gets people confused because it's 6 a.m. for the dining, but it's 7 a.m. for the lightning lanes.
Right.
So you don't want to lose that hour thinking that it's all 7 a.m., which I really think they should just across the board just pick one. So it's all the same, because that's really...
Yeah. It does get confusing.
Just aggravating. But it is really early in the morning. So.
It is. But be ready for that. That's what you're in for. And we are now going to... That's pretty much all that we had talked about in the stuff that we lost. So now we're going to go back about an hour and a half ago, to a much happier and less angry Mark, and a much less, like, half asleep Rachel.
Yeah.
And we will resume the episode talking about remembering important things with 6 a.m. marks, and then we'll actually talk about how we did when it came to actually getting the dining reservations that we wanted for this trip. So enjoy the rest of the episode that was not lost by GarageBand, and hopefully next week's episode is not as cursed as this week's.
Another thing people have to keep in mind is time zone differences. That it is 6 a.m. Eastern time, the Walt Disney World time in Florida.
Correct.
So if you are not
If you're in Chicago, yeah, you're not in the same time zone. So
you need to make sure you're actually up at the right time. I don't know what time that is. Probably a lot earlier than that. But yeah.
Central, 1 hour before that,
is it
5
1?
a.m.
2?
Mountain time, 4 a.m. And if you're on the West Coast, 3 a.m.
3 a.m.?
Yeah. It's part of it.
Okay, well, that's why you should just get someone like me to do it for you.
Correct. This is why you book through a travel agent like Rachel.
Don't get up at 3 a.m. and do it.
Armella at MickeyTravels.com.
Okay, anyways.
Log in before 6 a.m., though, is the moral of the story. You do not want to be 6 a.m. and trying to log in and figure out where you need to be.
It's loading, and then you're trying to get to the right page.
I suggest you're sitting down 10 minutes before 6 a.m. 5:50 is a good time. Get everything pulled up, log in, make sure you remember your login, make sure you get everything where you want it to be. Get to that screen right before you get to actually reserving your dining, and wait until 6 a.m.
Yeah, it won't let you get any further.
When you're at 6 a.m., hit refresh, boom, dive in. Now, bear in mind, there are two ways that you can do this, digitally, two ways. You can either log in through a web browser of your choosing, My Disney Experience, go on to the Go Disney, My Disney web page, log in there. If you click My Plans, on your plans across the top, there's going to be 5 different little bubbles. One of them will be... I know this is like really... Hold on. I know this is like really nitpicky, but make sure your reservation is linked to your My Disney Experience account. I know that's one of the first things you should do anyway, but I don't know. Just make sure. But use that 10 minutes before to make sure that everything is linked. Correct. Well, that's actually a very good point.
Yeah.
If you are staying in a Walt Disney World Resort hotel, you need to make sure that that hotel is linked in your My Disney for any of this to work.
For any of this.
Because keep in mind, you can make reservations for the entirety of your stay 60 days in advance of your first day. So if you're arriving on July 1st, for example, on May 1st or May 2nd, I don't know exactly what that is, but May 1st or May 2nd, it's your 60 days in advance.
You can book something on July 4th.
If you're still there. If you're still there for July 8th, you can book on May 2nd. You don't need to go each day.
Each day to do it.
If you've linked your resort stay to your My Disney Experience. If you have not, it doesn't matter if you're staying until July 8th. You're not going to be able to book that because the app and the website do not recognize that you're staying that long. So they're only going to let you book for the first day. That's a problem because you're going to be at a huge disadvantage. So the night before you even do this, make sure you have put in your confirmation code and that you have linked your resort stay into the My Disney Experience app. Again, this is why you hire Rachel. She makes sure all that is done and you're ready to go and you don't have to worry about any of that. But if you're an idiot and you don't go through,
Oh
Rachel,
my goodness, that was really harsh.
I meant it.
Okay.
Make sure that you have that
Yeah.
in there, because otherwise you're going to be in trouble.
Yeah.
So, log in nice and early. Decide which browser you want to use. Do you want to decide which digital platform, I should say, you want to use? Do you want to use a browser on a laptop or a computer, or do you want to use the app on your phone? Either is perfectly fine. Know your preference. Use what you feel more comfortable with. I like the laptop. I like to be on a browser. I like the big screen. I don't like doing this on the app. I want to do it on the computer.
I do have to say, if
But know
you're
your
going to go
preference.
for like a pro tip, I feel like if you do have a laptop or you can do a web browser, I feel like there's less crashes and glitches than in the app, because especially if all of a sudden you need to update the app or it like logs you out, which can happen on a web browser too. It actually happened to us and it logged him out really fast and we had to log back in. I just feel like it's a more sturdy way to do it with like internet and like that kind of thing.
Sure.
So it's a stronger way to do it, I think.
Yeah.
But you can do it on your phone.
My next tip is prioritize. Prioritize the dining experiences you know you really want, especially if that dining experience is sought after.
Yeah.
You do not have to make these reservations in order of the days that you're going. So the first day doesn't have to be the first reservation you make. The first day can be the last reservation you make. Go after the most sought after. Where this came into play for us was I knew immediately the first one at 6 a.m. on the dot I was going to go after was Topolino's.
Yes.
Topolino's is very sought after, very difficult to get. We were trying to get a reservation for 8 people too.
Yeah.
Larger parties tend to be more difficult to get. More on that to come later. There's a trick there.
Yeah.
We'll get to that in a second. But I knew that that one was the top priority. We really wanted to do that this trip. We have a bigger party. We intentionally, if you go back to that episode and listen, we put Topolino's on the second week of our stay, knowing that, right, if it was closer to the beginning, more people have been able to make those reservations, right? If you go for the first day of your stay for that sought-after reservation, well, a person who may have been there already for a week.
That overlaps with your week.
Right.
Then
So
there's
by
a
the
lesser
time
chance.
you have even a chance to do it, it could already be all booked up.
Yeah.
Unlikely, but it's possible.
Yeah.
The later you push it, the fewer people have been able to make those reservations.
Right.
So put those sought-after reservations towards the end of your trip, and you'll tend to have a better luck at getting
Or
it.
at least like a little more option, a little more wiggle room.
So
You'll say.
Right.
You know, like if it doesn't work out on one day, maybe you can do the next day and you can kind of
Correct.
switch things around.
Yeah. So we get there on a Tuesday. Is our first day. We put Topolino's on the Monday after. So that started that second week. It's also the last day that Rachel's parents and sister are there. So we figured that would be a good way for them to end their trip and kind of a good transition phase for us once they leave.
Yeah.
So I immediately went in, and I wish this was being recorded because the
Your reaction was probably fantastic.
great. I was like, yes, we did it. We got it. Totally
This is
lost.
really, really
Not
hard
recorded.
to get. And I think if you're not like a person who's going all the time, then I don't think you'll like understand, because you know there's people that have gone multiple times. There's people who even live down there who try so hard
Yeah.
to get a reservation here, and it's just like every time they go to book it, nope, it's booked, nope,
Right.
sold out, and it's like so it's very frustrating. So the fact that we got this first try, I think we kind of expected maybe a little bit of a pushback of like, oh, maybe we'll have to change the day, like whatever. But the fact that we got this on our first try, on the preferred day we wanted it, in perfect unity with our plan that we had in mind for that Monday, it was
Right.
chef's kiss.
Worth noting, by that night, we could not get that same reservation.
Yeah, nope, gone.
Gone. So if I
No
had
more.
not got up when I did and had not done that one first, who knows? That could have gone. Mm-hmm. Because by 8 o'clock that night, it was gone. I wasn't
Yeah.
getting an 8-person reservation there. So this is the importance with some of these more sought after. That is the first one you go after the minute that you can do it, and push it towards the end of your trip.
Yeah.
So, Topolino's, we secured it on the Monday. Very excited about that. The next one that I had on the list of prioritization was actually the first day that we're there. That Tuesday when we arrive, we're going to Disney Springs and Chef Art Smith's Homecoming.
Yes.
Very popular restaurant, and it was early in the trip, right? I was a little worried about getting an 8-person reservation.
And this is not only, this isn't on, I mean, it's Disney property, yes, but Disney Springs is a public space, so you're also fighting just random people in the area who just happen to also want to eat there for dinner one night. So I feel like Disney Springs is really great in the fact that there's a lot of options, so you'll never really, have nothing, but it is also, hard when it's the first day, like you were saying, it's the first day and that's hard, so, and it's very popular and good, which is why it's so popular.
Right. And so we were lucky. We didn't get the best time, but I kind of wanted to do a late lunch, early dinner anyways. So that was the time frame that I really tried to focus in on. We got a 3 p.m. reservation for 8 people. So I was kind of happy with that. I think that's an early night anyways. We don't want to be, we're going to have a really early morning with the flights and everything. We're not going to want to be out late.
And our original plan too was in Disney Springs. The last time we went with my parents, it was, when was that? Summer, August. Like an August one. We went down and we got the specialty beignets at Port Orleans. It was the Halloween ones, and my dad became obsessed. Literally the first bite he took. So he asked,
he's going to get his own order.
So he asked specifically if we were going to get beignets this time. So we were like, well, we'll go to Disney Springs, and if we're right there, might as well hop on a boat and go get them right after dinner. Not right after dinner, but I think that's a good time frame to have an early dinner like that, kind of digest a little bit, do some shopping, walk around, just kind of enjoy it, and then get some dessert.
The one thing the man actually wants to do, so we better make it happen. Anyways, after that,
start the trip right.
My prioritization was just by day.
Yeah.
After those two, I felt good that we got those two. The other ones I didn't really foresee being an issue. Yeah. So I just went day by day after that. So consecutively, I went the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday for the rest of the trip. Mm-hmm. That may not always be the case, right? If there's other ones that are sought after that you really want to get, you may want to put those ones first. But I didn't feel like any of the rest of them I was that worried about.
Yeah, we had a little more freedom of time, and we could switch days if we wanted to. We didn't have a set day for each park yet or anything, so we were kind of creating our itinerary and stuff around these reservations anyway. Yeah.
We were able to grab a Crystal Palace reservation for 8:55 a.m., which was not as early as I was hoping. I really wanted it to be an 8 a.m. reservation before the park even opens. I'm thinking, though, that if we get up early, that we'll see how everybody's feeling. It'll be the first full day. There is the early entry for people staying at the resorts, so the park opens at 8:30. If people are up and moving, and we can get there for 8:30, do some rides before maybe, and then go to Crystal Palace.
Or even 8. You meant 8, right?
No, early opening is 8:30. 30 minutes before park opening.
You just
is
said
the
it
extra
opens
magic
at 8:30.
hour.
Oh,
the park opens at 9.
Yes, for us it would open at 8:30.
For resort guests, it'll open at 8:30 with the extra magic hours.
I'm there.
So if we get there for 8:30, and I think we can get maybe a ride or two done in that time before we go over to Crystal Palace. So
do a Dumbo or an Aladdin.
Yeah, we'll see how people are doing. Yeah. Well, I don't know if Aladdin's open for extra magic, so it may have to be a Small World or something like that. But we'll see. We'll see. We'll see what happens there. 8:55 a.m. anyways, though. Crystal Palace on that second day. I was pretty happy with that. But again, not quite what I wanted. Wanted a little bit earlier, but I can live with that. We secured Roundup Rodeo on the Thursday. 12:55 p.m., so we're going to go there for a lunch. So I'm figuring that either we'll start at a Hollywood Studios in the morning, and then that'll be the last thing we do before we go back to the hotel, or we go somewhere else in the morning, and we head over to the studios after a break for lunch, and then we spend some time there. I'm not so worried about breaks having to be in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Because it's not going to be as hot this time of year. So
it would more so be just him napping. But I feel like he's been a little later and that 1, 2 p.m. anyway.
Right.
Kind of trending right now is that later into the evening nap, which isn't always a good thing.
So we'll see what happens, is basically. Either we'll spend Hollywood Studios a morning there, and then that'll be the last thing we do before we go back for a nap, or it'll be the first thing that we do at Hollywood Studios for the afternoon. We'll figure it out. We'll see how that day goes. Friday, we secured Tusker House for breakfast at 7:55 a.m. Again, not quite as early as I was hoping for. Animal Kingdom.
7:55, and that's not
Animal Kingdom opens at 8 a.m.
Okay.
I like doing the character breakfasts in the park a good time before. That way you can get in, eat, and then before other people get into the park, you're already in. That's the advantage, I think, to those. I'm just,
unfortunately, not an early riser.
So anyways, 7:55 a.m. is an early morning to get to Animal Kingdom for, so I won't push my luck. We'll go with 7:55. I was pretty happy with that. On the Saturday, we secured the Kona Cafe breakfast, 8:05 a.m. Not a problem with that. Sunday's where things get a little interesting. This is the last day of your parents' stay, as Rachel already mentioned.
My sister really wanted to go to Via Napoli.
So we're not going to Steakhouse 71 on the Sunday. We're going to Via Napoli.
Hey, I'm happy.
So they'll get pizza on their last night.
Yeah.
As long as she's happy.
As long as she's happy. You're making her vacation right there.
Perfect.
I'm just looking forward to that ice cream martini.
So we secured a Via Napoli reservation for 5:30. So that will change the complexion of that evening. I don't know that that'll make sense to do what we were planning on, like going to the Polynesian and watching the fireworks that night.
I just don't understand why.
Maybe because we're not going to the parks on Saturday. Saturday night, maybe we'll try to do that because we don't have park reservations.
Yeah, just kind of.
So that may be a good night to like. We don't have any dinner reservations per se. We could go over to the Polynesian or we could go to. I really want to go try at the Wilderness Lodge. I want to try the place that has the buffalo burgers.
Whispering Canyon.
No.
The other one that I always say.
It's outside.
I always say it.
It doesn't require a reservation. It's just a walk-up. I always talk about it.
And then you say, no, that's not that one. That's the other one. And I go, oh. Geyser Point.
Geyser Point, yes. It's an outdoor dining restaurant area.
You don't need it. It's a walk-up.
It's a walk-up.
That would be a good, like, lunch thing. We'll do, like, the monorail loop thing for, like, that Saturday, you know?
But I'm thinking dinner.
Oh, dinner there.
And then go over to the Polynesian and watch the fireworks. So,
listen, anything sounds better than going to work tomorrow morning. So you can get me to do anything you want. Interesting, right? So anyways,
I think that's what we'll do that Saturday. We'll do that then instead. And then maybe we just do an Epcot night, end at Epcot. You know, it'll be Flowering Garden Festival. They can spend their last night in Epcot. Unless they really want to, like, your sister wants to go and do something crazy. Honey, that's what I'm saying. You're not listening.
I wasn't. I'll be honest, I was reading something. I'm sorry.
When the co-host is not listening.
I'm sorry.
That may have to be like a new segment on this. I'm saying that we were going to do that on the Sunday when we were going to Steakhouse 71.
Uh-huh.
Now we're going to Via Napoli.
Yes.
That doesn't make as much sense to try to rush from Epcot over there. Oh yeah, no.
I thought we were talking about Saturday.
I'm saying that on Saturday, when we only have a breakfast reservation, that at night, we will go and eat at like a Geyser Point or one of those resort areas there, and then watch the fireworks Saturday night rather than Sunday night.
Okay. Yes, that's what I thought we were talking about.
No, but then you said, "Oh no, I thought we were doing that on Sunday."
Yeah, because
we were originally, but now we're not.
No, I am actually. My brain is actually with you. I don't know why I said Sunday. I thought you were saying spend the night on Saturday at Epcot, which is why I said I thought we were doing that on Sunday.
We don't have park reservations.
I know, but I'm just explaining to you why I thought that you switched the days. Mm-hmm. Because you said Epcot. I didn't know we had gone on to
Folks, what do you think? Was she listening or not? Anyways.
Probably not.
At this point, I want to take a second here to talk a little bit about larger parties.
Yeah.
We have 8 people, which is a larger party. We've had larger. We've been on trips with my entire
12.
family with 12 people,
Yeah.
sometimes even more than 12 people. It is difficult to secure reservations the bigger your party is. There are tips and tricks, though, that can help, and I was ready and prepared for this, and I wish that this was recorded. Because we had a larger group, my parents... Chances are when you have a larger group, you're not all on one My Disney experience.
Anyways,
hopefully you've linked everybody together. But more than one person probably has their own accounts. You probably have multiple rooms, and each person, one person in a room has that account. You can link all that together. That way someone can make reservations for everybody, even if you're not in the same room. But it's also helpful if there are multiple My Disney experiences to be logged onto one of each at the same time. The reason for that is, so what I had done was, on our laptop, I was logged in as me. On my cell phone, I logged in as my mother's account. The reason for that was, if we could not get an 8-person reservation, don't lose hope.
Yeah.
Because you may be able to get 2 separate 4-person reservations. So, let's say I go in, I want to make a Via Napoli reservation for 5:30, 6 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
So I go into the app, I click the time frame I want, I click Via Napoli, I click how many people in my party, 8. Uh-oh, no reservations for an 8-person party. Time to rethink. Now I would go in on the laptop as me and look for a 4-person reservation for around that time frame. In the meantime, on my cell phone, this is easier if you have a partner sitting there with you.
Like me. I was there.
You go, hey, Rachel.
Oh my God. Don't ever say that. Yo, why do you go so deep?
Adrian. Like a Rocky kind of thing.
Anyways, go ahead.
Yo,
Hello,
Rachel.
my lovely wife. Can you please log in?
Yo, Rachel. Go on my mom's account.
Why do you mean...
Go on my mother's account and get us a 4-person reservation for around 5 o'clock.
On it.
So you're both doing it, right? Maybe let's say I get 4 people for 5 o'clock. Rachel gets 4 people for 5:05. Don't fret. No reason to worry.
Show up together at 5:05.
Almost every time that I've had to do this,
Yeah.
if you show up and you go up to them and you are within like 15, 20 minutes of each other with these 2 separate reservations, we have not once, this cannot be guaranteed,
No.
but we have never once been told that we could not sit at the same table together. Just because you couldn't get the 8-person reservation. If you got 4 and 4, you all show up together and be like, hi, I have a reservation under Mark for 4 at 5 o'clock. This is my mother, insert name here. She has a reservation for 4 at 5:05. Can we link the 2 and sit together? And almost every single time when you ask the hostess that, politely and nicely, and you show up and you're very like...
Big emphasis on the politely and nicely.
Correct.
Yeah.
Every single time, we've gotten a table together.
Yeah.
So, keep that in mind. Big parties, split into smaller groups, day of, show up and ask if you can sit together. Always bear in mind, though, that at certain restaurants, they may not be able to put you together. A great example of this is Sci-Fi. The way that the tables are set up, you're sitting in a car, right, that can only sit so many people. You may have to sit at different tables.
Yeah.
So, Teppanyaki, another great example. You can only fit 8 people around the hibachi thing. So if you're a party of 16, you're not sitting all 16 people around one. They will try to keep you near each other if they can.
Yeah, like next to each other.
But
2 different ones, but...
Not everybody's fitting around one. So,
nope.
Keep that in mind, though. But that is a huge tip, I think, very helpful with larger groups. A lot of times when you watch, these vloggers or whoever, it's just them, or them and their partner, or them and like a few other people.
It's always like a party of 2 or 3.
They always make it seem easy.
Like,
and it seems easy.
Yeah, it's fine.
Out of nowhere because you're only one person.
Like, yeah, anybody can get one person.
So You don't. I
You
don't.
can walk up and get one person at a lot of these.
I don't
probably.
feel like you get enough people who like talk about bigger groups, which we've traveled with a lot. And
a lot of people do. It's not usually single and double people going to Disney. It's
Right.
very large families and extended families, you know?
right, and I think that'll save a lot of heartache by trying to split the groups.
Yeah, don't be like, oh, there's no reservations. We cannot do it.
Right.
You can.
Don't lose hope. Don't lose hope. So I wanted to point that out, though, before your parents had officially left the trip, because that was my backup plan for that. As we already mentioned, on the Monday, we got the Topolino's reservation we wanted, 8:40 a.m. Landed a lunch reservation at Yak and Yeti on the Tuesday for noon. So we're going to go for lunch at Yak and Yeti. Can't wait.
I'm so excited.
Pumped. Love Yak and Yeti.
So good.
Steakhouse 71. We snuck in on the Wednesday now when we were supposed to go to Via Napoli. Now we're going to Steakhouse 71 on our last night at 5:30 p.m. We'll end the trip off with a great meal there, I think. I'm very excited about that one. Have not eaten there yet. And then, as tends to be our tradition when we stay at the beach club, ending with the Ale and Compass for breakfast on our last morning. Snags can happen. Be ready for them. We hit a snag, didn't we?
We did. Mark was like, oh no! With Steakhouse 71. But it ended up not being something that was our fault. It was a glitch.
It's definitely a glitch. So when we went in to get that Steakhouse 71 reservation on that last day, it said there was no availability. And I'm like, there's something not right here. This is a restaurant that, like, if it was Topolino's Terrace that said that we couldn't get a 5-person reservation on that day, maybe I'd buy that. This is a restaurant that never,
I don't really think availability has ever been an issue.
This
here.
is not, like, super sought after. It's not...
good. It's really good, but, like,
Right.
it's not one of your top character / dining experiences that
Right.
people are after.
Right. So I was like, something's not right here. There's a reason why this is happening, and it's not us. Because we should be able to get this.
Yeah.
Like, either they're going to renovate it, or something's happening. But
Weird.
I tried that night, and there was tons of availability every single day that we were there. And I'm like, that's more like it.
So we just waited a little bit until later on that day, and then we logged back on, and it was fixed.
It was fixed. So clearly something just was not clicking with that restaurant for whatever reason for the 60-day mark, and it was glitching. System glitches happen.
Yeah.
Be patient. Don't immediately panic if something like that happens, especially if you know it's not a sought-after restaurant. Like, chances are something is going on there. Another good benefit to having someone like Rachel on your side, though, because she can call using her direct line to Disney and figure out what's happening, too.
Which Mark said, and I quote, "You're going to be calling later, Miss Direct Line." Because I said I could call. I said, oh, I can just call them, like, when they open. And he was like, yeah, you're going to be calling later, Miss Direct Line.
Oh, and bear in mind,
all right.
She is going to get someone a lot quicker than you calling the Disney line and waiting in the queue. Those queues, you can wait, and I've waited before, for upwards of an hour plus on the phone before you talk to anybody.
Yep.
Rachel's company is a diamond level company, travel agency for Disney, which means they have the quickest line to someone any given time of any given day.
Yeah.
So she is the person that you want on your side because she can get in contact with them a lot quicker. And if someone has to wait on the phone, it's her.
I'll do it.
Not you. Especially
and I
if you're
have before,
on vacation.
even on my platinum line, I've waited. So it's not just, but on the other, think about how, like, okay, I waited 2 hours on my platinum line. That could have been 5 hours on the regular line, and then you'll just give up.
When I don't think that you've ever waited that long.
Like 2 hours, yeah.
Yeah,
on my platinum line.
On that line?
Well, I guess I would say the whole thing took about 2 hours because I had to wait a couple of times to be bounced back from guest services to other things. But still, that's a long time to be sitting on the phone that, you don't really want to do, and I'll do it for you.
Armello at MickeyTravels.com. Now, before we end this episode, I do want to just run through the process because I had done this live for you if you've never done this before. So I think that this may be helpful if we just kind of go through how you actually book one of these. If you're on the browser, you're going to go up top to where it says My Disney Experience in the upper right-hand corner. Scroll over that drop-down menu. Click on My Plans. When you click on My Plans, your plans are going to pop up. But across the top, there's going to be 5 little circular emblems. The one usually always, all the way to the right, is going to be Reserve Dining. You scroll over that, there's going to be a button, you're going to click Reserve Dining. Okay, and that's going to get you into the system where you need to be. If you're on the app, if you click the little menu button on the bottom right-hand corner of the screen, the little hamburger thing, click on that, and then right up near the top, you're going to see an icon that says Reserve Dining. That's what you want to click if you were wondering.
The Reserve Dining button?
Once you do that, you're going to get a screen that pops up that says Check Dining Availability. Party size is the first question you get. So you're going to want to click how many members in your party. So we had 8, so I will just, for the heck of it, click 8. Then a calendar thing is going to pop up. Date, what day are you dining on? Scroll to your day. Bear in mind, you're going to have availability 60 days in advance. Or, if you've properly linked your stay at this point, you should be able to see until your last day of your stay. So, we in fact can see to our last day, that second Thursday. What I like to do on my prioritized list is not just write out the day, but also the date. I write out Monday, and then whenever the day is. So, Monday, July 3rd. The reason for that is because an actual calendar pops up. So if you don't have, if you're there for multiple Mondays, or, you know, you're there across multiple months, I find it very helpful to actually have the real date. What is it? March 2nd? To have that actual date. That way you know, you're not like looking in like, okay, is the Monday March 2nd or is the Monday March 3rd? I can't really tell.
Yeah.
You got that date, you just boom. You click on the date that you're interested in. So, click on the date. Once you click on that date, then a time option is going to pop up. And you're going to be presented with 4 different options. Your 4 different options, and this is so much better than it used to be. It used to ask you for a specific time during the day, and then would give you like a plus or minus like hour and a half window from the time that you selected. Now, you click this big, broad category, and it'll give you every option available within that time.
Which is very, very nice to see.
It is. So
all at once, like right on all the times. Right
your
there.
4 options are all day, morning, which says before 12 p.m., afternoon, which says 12 p.m. to 4 p.m., and evening after 4 p.m. What category would you like, honey?
Afternoon.
Afternoon. So I'll click 12 to 4 p.m. And now a new screen will pop up. And on this new screen, you're going to see every dining location for that date that still has availability. So, and it will be in alphabetical order. Keep that in mind. Sometimes, if there is a "the" at the beginning, like the Crystal Palace, don't look in the C's. Yeah. I ran into this. I was looking for Crystal Palace in the C's. It's not. It's under T's because the. So keep in mind, Ohana's always going to, if it has availability, is always going to be the first one to pop up because it's got that little apostrophe at the beginning of it. So,
yep.
50s primetime, always near the top of the list too because it's a number. So it'll go to the front. Akershus in the Norway Pavilion
first
towards the top. Okay, so
yeah, Ohana is weird because of that.
I just randomly selected Monday, March 12th for March 24th. So on Monday, March 24th, from the 12 p.m. to 4 p.m., we could do an Ohana at 3:35. That's the only option for Ohana at that time. Yeah. 3:35.
Let's see. I'm surprised there's even that available.
Or, I mean, there's a ton of options. I'll just do the top 2. The top 2 are Ohana at 3:35. And 50s prime time at 2:20 or 2:30 p.m. Which one would you like, honey?
Ohana.
Ohana at 3:35. You got it. If there is more availability, it'll give you several availability. And if there's even more than what's popping up on the screen, there'll be a little button that says more options, and you can always click that and it'll give you the full list of them. But Rachel says 3:35 for Ohana, so I click that. Once you do that, a new screen will pop up. It says reservation details, and once you get into here, you have that reservation for 9 minutes. So they will automatically hold that position for you for the next 9 minutes before they give it up to someone else. So once you get there, you are in the clear as long as you get this transaction done in the next 9 minutes.
9 minutes, yeah.
It'll give you the details. So we have 8 guests for dinner on Monday, March 24th at 3:35 p.m. If you want to put any add-ons, you can do this at this point. I do not suggest doing any of this at this point.
No.
You're wasting time from getting the other reservations.
Not precious time.
Don't bother. If you really want to do it, you can, but you can always go back and edit and add it in later. That's what I would always suggest to do. If you have any dietary requests, you can also add that there. That'll be associated with your reservation. So what I will do is I'll go back into the reservations that we made and make note that one of our members has a peanut and egg allergy, our son. So that way they already know that before we even show up at the restaurant. We'll obviously remind them, but when you check in, they will always ask you about those dietary restrictions. And if there's something on there, they'll review those with you right away. So not a bad thing to put in there. And if you have any accessibility requests, any kind of specialty like needs, if you have a wheelchair or something like that, you can also do that at this time. If not, you're going to click continue at the bottom. Once you do that, your reservation summary will pop up, and this is where it's important. They're going to make you put in a phone number under the primary guest contact. So whoever made the reservation, in this case it pops up as Mark. So I need to put in my phone number. Doesn't matter how many times you've done this, you need to put it in. Then you're going to click next. Here's where you want to make sure that you have a credit card already uploaded when in your account. Because if you don't, you're going to have to take the time to upload your credit card. If you were not expecting this and you don't have a credit card in here, you're going to be scrambling to run and grab your credit card to try to keep on pace. As long as you've already saved the card on here, though, that option should pop up, and it'll be nice and easy. You just click on that option, confirm it, and then down at the bottom, you're going to get asked one more question. They're going to ask you to acknowledge that you've read their terms and conditions. You click that box, then you click confirm, and you're done. You've reserved that location. Woo-hoo. If you have everything already loaded into the system and you do not waste time on doing the other stuff, you can do this pretty easily within, I'll say, 2 to 3 minutes each reservation. So you can pop these out pretty quickly if you're going through. Just be cognizant that you're doing it on the days that you want, right? Make sure you're getting the right dates. And make sure that you have that credit card linked to your account and saved before you do it.
Yeah.
But overall, pretty easy to do and pretty user-friendly. But again, why bother unless you really like waking up at 6 a.m. and doing this? Why bother when Rachel could do it for you? So, and we actually enjoy doing it, and sometimes I'll help her out and I'll do it for her and stuff like that. So I kind of enjoy the rush and the thrill of the experience of seeing if you can actually get everything that you're looking for. It's really the
lightning lanes for him. He's helped me book lightning lanes before, for people, and he'll be like, "All right, what do I need? Let's do this. Let's do that." And I'm like, I can't even think straight right now. He's more ready to go than I am. Which is funny. Anyways.
But some people who are Disney fanatics really enjoy doing it. And you can, even if you use Rachel, right? There's nothing saying that you can't
do it. It's just nice to have me in your back pocket if you need any help.
And if you don't want to be bothered with any of this that we talked about, just let us handle it for you.
Yep. No brainer right there. But yeah, that's pretty much our dining that we have secured. Oh, sit down dining that we have. Any other quick service and snacks will be on the day-to-day basis. So yeah, that is pretty much our experience this time around with picking our dining and getting up early and doing all of that stuff.
Are you excited?
It does get me more excited that we're at that 60-day mark.
Well, we're beyond it.
I know. Well, now we are, but yeah, this is getting real.
There was an old Disney vlogger who's kind of fallen out of style now.
Is he even still doing it?
I have no idea.
Oh.
But he used to say waves of Disney.
Yeah.
And that you would get hit with these waves of happiness the closer and closer you gut to getting to your trip.
Like, you're going.
And I feel like that 60-day mark after you, like, okay, we've booked our reservation. We've booked our hotel.
Like, this is real.
That's like the first one that you're like, okay, now there's something like there. And then you buy your plane ticket. So you buy, like, you figure out how you're going to travel.
To, like, a new
and you're
thing.
Like, oh, this is becoming more and more real. And then you get to the 60-day mark and you're like, oh boy, it's coming. Like, we have our reservations. Like, I'm excited to eat at these places. Like, it's that next, like, wave of happiness.
Yeah.
And then, like, there'll be another wave when we're a month out.
Yeah.
And then as you start to pack. And then 7 days, we'll book our lightning lanes. And, like, everything kind of
falls into place.
It does.
It gets more and more real.
Very exciting. Very exciting.
Oh.
Anyways, if you want to follow us with all of the upcoming, there'll be a lot of social media stuff. I can promise you that with this trip. We're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to enjoy it. We're going to post a lot of stuff. So make sure that you're following us on those social media accounts. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, anything, you just want to reach out to us and say hi, send us an email at startswithawishthought@gmail.com. If you are looking to book that next Disney vacation wherever you are going across the world at a Disney location, reach out to Rachel at rmello@mickeystravels.com. And remember, folks, it all starts with a wish. We'll see you real soon.
Bye.